Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys some really good tips and tricks to absolutely go off here in Season 2, and as well to give you guys some tips and tricks specifically for controller to help you just go off and win so many gunfights here in Season 2. And real quick before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I'm going to be giving away 2,000 V-Bucks every single week. And if you guys want to be a part of this giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you guys do turn on those post notifications so you guys get notified for every single new video. And lastly, comment down below either your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And you guys will be automatically entered into the next giveaway. And also, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go down to the bottom, click on support a creator, type in my code. My creator code is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. And alright, so real quick, as you see in the top left of my screen, let's just take a minute to appreciate the epic username I have on this account. Huge shout out to all of the keybot players that complain about aim assist. And lastly, just a quick moment of silence for legacy aim assist and L2 spam being removed from Epic Games. Alright, I'm just playing, but anyways, that's really important because now you're going to have a lot of controller players now playing on either linear or exponential. I think most people are going to be playing on linear. I did mention in my live stream yesterday that I was going to make a poll as soon as they take out legacy aim assist, whether you guys are going to be using linear or exponential. And if you guys can just leave a comment down below as well, letting me know if you guys play on linear or exponential. I think most of you guys do play on linear. I could be wrong. I feel like there is a handful of people I see in my comments from time to time that do in fact play on exponential settings, but I feel like most of you guys do play on linear settings from what I've seen and just what I've read from a lot of you guys who play on controller in this game. So that's really important because on linear aim assist, the close range is really strong, which means that close ranges, a lot of times controller players can have a huge advantage because the aim assist is very strong and they're able to lock down and hit quite a few shots with their drum guns, with their SMGs. And especially at the beginning of this season with Epic Games removing traps completely from the game, I'm telling you, that is going to be the #1 point of focus and the #1 area that you need to master and improve on if you want to be the best player and just go off and be just an absolute beast here in Season 2. You want to be able to be very good at, I guess to put it in short terms or easy terms, you need to be as good of an SMG spammer as possible. Because before, if you played on legacy aim assist, you can have a very increased advantage at mid to long ranges, but that's going to be completely removed. And I guess you can have a little bit of one with exponential settings, but like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to be playing on linear, and either way, it's still going to be a very important way to just go off in this game. You want to be able to be very efficient at close range with the SMG, and that's going to be the main point of focus and the main area that you want to improve on if you want to absolutely be a beast controller player here in the season. Because as far as controller players versus keyboard and mouse players, you really don't have too many advantages at all, but you do have a couple, and I'm telling you, close range hip fire with your SMG is going to be a big advantage over the rest of the players in this game. It doesn't matter if you're playing controller players or if you're playing against keyboard and mouse players, doesn't really matter. Aim assist, hip fire is going to be very strong on linear and exponential settings, and that's going to be the point of focus you want to have to be a absolute beast player here in this season. And of course, just running around and W keying everyone's box isn't necessarily the best way. There is a few, I kind of did it right here, but there is a few things that you want to keep in mind. You can't just rush in there and just expect it to work. You have to play somewhat smart. You have to be a smart sprayer. I know it sounds kind of, counterintuitive to be smart and a sprayer, but when you are challenging gunfights, you want to make sure that when you're challenging, when you're rushing them as hard as possible, that you do have an advantage in that situation, that you're not just blindly rushing at the other player, because then that can turn bad as well. So you want to make sure that you have some sort of strategy with it. And what I mean by being very good at SMG hipfire spam is I basically really mean just be extremely accurate with your SMG. You want to be as accurate as humanly possible, and that's going to give you the best advantage. So it's not necessarily just W keying, which I kind of do that anyways, but it's not necessarily just about blindly rushing and spamming with your SMG. It's more about when you are really close to the other player, maybe you're in their box or you're having a box fight, the other player is right next to you, you want to be able to consistently hit almost all of your SMG shots. That specifically is going to be the biggest advantage that you can have for a controller player. And also another thing that you'd want to do is, so now they have launch pads in the game, which I feel like when they first came out, I'm pretty sure you guys, a lot of you have noticed as well. I was barely getting launch pads at all. I was getting some like once every like 2 or 3 games, but I feel like now I get them, I would say at least get maybe like 2, possibly 3 a game, which is really, really good. I'm getting more and more launch pads, meaning I'm going to be able to utilize them a lot more in the game. But one thing that I would really, really recommend you guys do is pretty much throughout the game, if you guys get a launch pad, you really want to save it for as long as possible. And the reason why this is super important and something you guys would want to do is because once you have a launch pad, that can save you from a lot of instances. So for instance, if you're getting caught in you have a random, like this, I think it's the second or third zone, the one that could be like all the way across the map. I've had so many times where I've died because I've landed Slurpy Swamp and the zone's all the way by Pleasant Park, or I drop Lazy like in this game, and then the storm is all the way up at the top left corner of the map. It's happened more times than not, and I really could have prevented myself from dying or getting screwed over by the zone if I would have kept the launch pad instead of using it to rush another player or to rotate faster. If I would have used that to maybe save myself and get out of the zone quicker, that would have been a lot better strategy to have. So if you do have a launch pad, I would recommend for as much as possible to keep that launch pad for as long as you can, and also it can save you from getting out, or it can get you out of gunfights a lot easier. Like an example of this, say you're in the middle, I don't know, what do you call it, Loot Lake, where the agency is, like in the middle where all the water is. Say you're in the middle, right? And maybe you're getting spammed from 2 or 3 different directions. The only thing you can do at that point, if you didn't have a launch pad, you would have to either run towards the agency or swim towards the agency and get beamed and take a shiz ton of damage, or the only other thing you can do is just basically die in this situation. There's not really much you can do, or you can try to fight. I guess those are the three things that you can do. But a better alternative is to utilize that launch pad. And if you can't get all the way to like Salty Springs or the next zone, all you need to do is just go to the agency and then go into the building, because at least when you're in the building, you can maneuver around it, and you save a lot more materials. You have every short advantage. You have quarter peaks, all that kind of good stuff. So you're gonna have a much better chance winning that gunfight in the agency or in a building, rather than getting spammed from like 10 or 15 different directions at the same time. So actually holding on to a launch pad, at least one, for as long as possible, is a very, very good strategy. Of course, sometimes if you just want to go for a crazy amount of kills, then screw it. But if you really want to focus on winning games and going off, I would highly, highly, highly recommend doing that. And that's something that I've been doing, that I have seen a really big improvement on, or a big win percentage boost, I guess you can say, on my games, because I'm no longer really getting screwed by the zone. Of course, I have those games where I don't get a launch pad, or I forget about it and then I screw myself up. But for the most part, I really don't get screwed over to zone too much, because I make sure, even if I want to rush someone, that I do hold on to that launch pad for as long as I possibly can, which is something I really recommend to you guys as well. I think that's a very good strategy and something I would do if I were you. And lastly, when it comes to in-game, especially in solos, when a lot of the solo games are a little bit tougher, people sit in boxes. Well, this is mainly in solos. It's not as much in duos and squads sometimes, but really mainly in solos. One thing you really want to focus on and keep in mind is that people are going to be playing really, really slow, meaning that if you want to rush, or if you want to go for kills in that late game, which if you want to get a lot of kills, the late game probably is going to be your best bet. The early game and late game are the best points for kills. Mid game is a little bit more difficult, but early game and late game is where you're going to get the majority of your kills most of the time. And towards the late game, you really want to be smart about it. You want to make sure that when you're pushing players, you're not going to get pinched by 3 different angles. Meaning that when you push other players, say like in a zone like this, when I'm pushing players, I could easily push the guy in the middle, but it's a far better strategy right there that I push the guy on the edge of the zone, so I wasn't going to get shot from my back to my sides in front of me. So right there, that play was very, very good. It was a play that I wanted to get kills with, but also at the same time, it wasn't going to screw me over in a way that if I wasn't able to get the kill within the first 5 seconds, then I wasn't going to get spammed from like 15 different directions, which is a problem I see a lot of people have. But you always want to make sure in that late game, if you are going for kills, especially in Season 2, that you be very, very smart about it. You have very good positioning. And that's probably the number one thing that I've messed up on that has cost me games. So making sure you have very good positioning in that late game is going to help you secure a lot more wins and also get a lot more easier gunfights, because you're not getting spammed from like 15 different directions, getting ripped by those mythic miniguns, drum guns, and scars. I know exactly how you guys feel, because I've gotten killed so many times by the mythic minigun that it literally pisses me off every time someone pulls it out, because I already know I'm going to get spammed as hard as humanly possible. But anyways, guys, that's wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you guys did, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright, guys, I'll see you next video.